the main purpose of applying for this position is because of the past experiences that I've had with in relation to the position, and also in relation to my experience in the course that I'm taking. It's because I want to integrate the information and communication technology part in the communication director office. As of the past, there's always only been the media. So I want to combine both, so that when we say that we want to take this organization as a platform for other youths to relate with it, we can use the available means to market our organization as a brand, and a brand that can be trusted, as it has always been. Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about the interactions in the office before.
Yeah.
What interactions are you describing specifically? Have you held another post in that office, or in your local chapter, or international?
Yes, I've been the ICT secretary in the finance department, the Secretary General's office. When I was the ICT secretary, I had the chance to interact with the press. I worked with the press. I was able to oversee the Kenya MUN as an organization, moving from an organization with a WordPress page to now with a fully fledged website that is working thanks to Belinda as the commission director. And also I was involved in designing mock debates, posters, and I've also I designed the brochure that is in place right now. And currently we're working with the Secretary General to design, and the commission director to design a brochure that can be used by the organization in general, but not limited to one town, that can be presented to anyone at any place and present the figure or the face of Kenya and UN as it is.
Okay, so are there any questions for him?
The communication surface is a lot of work, so how do you plan to integrate the whole organization as a whole? How would you ensure that communication gets to each and every chapter?
There are so many platforms that I have. We have the social media, and also I believe in unity. If I can do my best and the other person doesn't do his or her best, then we will not achieve our goal. If I pass information to USG, and the USG does not pass the information to their members, then the main purpose of the main goal of the organization will not be met. At the end of it all, it's not about me, it's about the members of the Kenyan Union. We want them to grow and interact fully in the organization.
And how do you plan to, do you have a marketing strategy for?
Yeah, I have a marketing strategy for Kenya Union. First of all, it's for it to be a brand. If you check the previous posters, they were different. For the CSAT, it's like this, it's green, the other one is red, the other one is yellow. Clearly no one can be able to relate any poster to Kenya Union other than the logo. So my main one will be branding the Kenya Union through using our theme colors and the logo. Also using the social media. If you check the Tanzania MUN, they use the Facebook. People look down on Facebook, but it's very important. Other organizations use Facebook and it's working. For example, you look at what people love. Many people don't love reading. So you put Kenya MUN, what it is, and a link, many people don't read. But if you put quotes or pictures and then download a link on Kenya MUN or the logo, then people will start to relate with Kenya MUN. I think that's one of the ways that I can use to market the Kenya MUN.
Any more questions?
Since part of the work will be branding and trying to market the various events that you have, the national secretaries will organize, how will you foster it, help reach the Undersecretary Generals, the various chapters? For example, you have a conference on Monday, so if you are marketing for that conference, how are you going to ensure that each and the marketing done right down to the various chapters so that you can get to a wide number of people?
Yeah, in one of my strategic plans, I have a point of integrating the chapters in the national level. If you go and check our website, there are names of different chapters, but you cannot link to them. I want to put a hyperlink, and thus every chapter should have a web page or a WordPress or a working website. I know of chapters which had a good WordPress. For example, my chapter Jomo Kenyatta, but the chapter is then down. Why? Because they don't have the link to the National Secretariat. So by integrating them with the National Secretariat and using the logo name, then it should work. Definitely.
Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. As a communication director, you tend to find some of the chapters are not active. How will you go about it? Considering the first meeting we had, we are more than 15 more. And as for now, the active chapters are about 6. How, as the docket of communication with the National Secretary, how do you handle it?
Yeah. I still use the available platforms. I believe in the power of social media, being in the technology world. For example, I'll use also my local chapter, JPOT. If I start with their USG, I'll not reach the goal. I should start with those who are there. Using our Facebook page, if they know about Kenya MUN, then they will definitely want to know of JKMUN. And if they know about JKMUN, they want to join the Kenya MUN. So first of all, I'll foster the fastering of information, going down to the local members so that they can be able to know about the Kenya MUN as a whole.
Question. One of the roles of communications director is that they serve up as the other, as the secretary of the national secretariat. So the secretary of the national secretariat is doing the meetings, supposed to draft meeting minutes and whatnot. So the question is, how would you rate your writing skills in terms of writing, taking out minutes, speeches, and again, the essence of writing is your file basically record keeping. How would you rate it? And also, the essence of having minutes is for accountability, and also what is your mission, for example. For example, you're going to have a meeting today, take down the minutes. People who sent in their apologies and were not able to attend the particular meeting are supposed to receive the minutes, but they can be able to at least be in touch with whatever happened during the meeting. So my question is, how do you think you will handle these activities of this communication secret?
On the matters of, let me start that on people not attending and they want to get the information. The National Secretariat, they all have emails. I can use the email links. After a short while, after drafting the minutes, writing a report, I can send them the report, and then they can have a look at what was discussed. But matters on my capability of taking minutes, writing reports, thanks to the course that I'm taking, I've studied database management. I've been taught how to collect data and transform it to information that can relate well to those who want it to. So, minute taking, their templates you can use suitable to the organization. Filing, they have come up with ways of storing data, better databases, and also presentation of your work. With the technology, you can easily manage your data. Yeah.
The question about your writing skills.
Writing skills, I can read them as 7 over 10. And the 3, I can beg it on my bureau. I'll have someone who can write, yeah. I always want the best, yeah. So, yeah.
Any other question? So I think now, since you have told us your intentions for communications director for KMUN, could you share with us your dream for what you want to accomplish with the office if you get it?
Yeah, my dream, well, it's a good one. I want KMUN to be a brand. It suddenly when I'm in my local chapter and someone yells of KMUN and I tell them in full Kenya Model Education, they always ask, has UN gone into modeling? As in they always tell me you should put girls there modeling. No. So on the negative side, our name, Kenya Model Nations, we have to brand it. We have to be the UN in our chapters. People, when you hear about UN, you know UN it is. I want us to be the UN in our chapters. Yeah.
Okay, closing remarks?
Closing remarks that I would like to thank you all for giving me this chance to be here. Thank you all for the skills that I've learned from you. I know and I believe that I am capable of taking KMUN to great heights through the communications department, where I can brand KMUN into the organization that it is, or even to a better one. Thank you.
The reason why I'm running basically is for all other university students that are still not aware that there's a club like MUN that can do them can give them such abilities, confidence, Basically the club is formed for the students. So if you ask me why I'm running, I don't have any other vested interest aside them. So yeah, that's why I'm running.
Okay, we should now open the floor. Any other questions which you may raise? Okay, in what direction would you like to take KMUN if you get the position of secretary?
Obviously forward.
Yeah.
Because there's no backward, no sideways. So obviously forward. And just
What in what way? Like, what sort of role would your SG-ship be? What type of leadership would you instill inside the organization?
What type of leadership can you see inside the organization? I would like a KMUN that is run by members and member opinions than decisions that are made unanimously by us. So basically the members' interests, that's exactly what we're going to base KMUN on. What they want is what we will give.
So by members, do you mean the chapter member USGs or chapter members themselves, the individuals?
You see, all these posts we have is basically to facilitate our relationship with the chapter members, because KMUN is for them. So their wishes, their interests through their USGs to us, that is how we're going to go.
Just a minute. If one of your secretariat members had to go rogue, or do you take charge of the situation? You can use any assumptions or scenario, just build up a scenario so we can see how best you can handle the situation.
Okay. First and foremost, I believe that prevention is way better than cure. And the only reason why somebody can go wrong is if sometimes they feel like whatever it is they're trying to say is being not being heard. So I want a secretariat, and I would wish to have a secretariat that vents out whatever its feelings are. If you have negative feelings towards each other, if you have positive feelings towards each other, they should be vented out, and people should encourage themselves. But if such a situation arises, and we look at the main focus of why we're in the secretariat, we're here to work. So going rogue is not going to help us work. So we need to deal with that unanimously. So before we go into this, we should all know that we're going to work. And anybody who does not feel to work is, because we're not going to attain our purpose by going rogue. Yeah, we're going to attain our purpose by coming together and working towards it. So
it's more of, if it happens, you as the SG, the current situation, one has already gone rogue. How do you, because already their functions affect a whole bureau team and affect the conference, for example, on one of the activities in the course of the year. So something like that is to come up. Or how would you handle it?
How would I handle that? My team. I believe that the best support I can get is from my team. So the advice I will get is from my team. And whatever advice that they get, I will unanimously use that to make a decision. If we are to get rid of a real person, then that is exactly what we will do, and see how we will delegate the duties that they were doing amongst ourselves if we cannot replace them. So we either immediately replace them, or we take those duties and split them amongst ourselves, and we go forward for what we're going for.
Another question. You are late. If we can't trust you this time, how are we going to trust you all over again?
And it is one of my weaknesses. Yeah, we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, right? And I'm not really scared of renting out my weaknesses. I do have a slight issue with time. But what I do is, in such an important situation, I will prior either inform or delegate something that I would have done during that time to someone else, so that they can try and do it when they're out, you know? But there is no excuse for me. I mean, it's something I'm working on, and I'm making progress.
Chukri, I've been through your platform message, and I think it's catchy. It's very promising, very written about it. So I'd like to hear you in your own words. What would you like to see happen in the 15th Secretariat that's going to make MUN better with you at the helm of it?
So what would I say to make MUN better?
And to actually the 15th session.
Please be audible. I'm struggling to hear what you said.
I'm so sorry. Would you phrase the question for me, kindly?
I'll say initially, I've been through your platform message,
Yeah.
which you sent you, and I say it's good. It's very catchy. It's very tantalizing. But I'd like to hear your own words. What would you do, or what do you pledge to do in the 15th Secretariat, the 15th session, as the head of KMUN, to make it better?
I pledge to increase the awareness of Kenya within the United Nations. It should not be a club where we struggle to tell people that, have you ever heard of a club like KMUN? People should know that there's a club like KMUN that exists. It is like our vision. We aim to become an envisage, like the platform of all leadership. So that is exactly where we're aiming to become. And people should be yearning to join Kenya within the United Nations for the benefits of receive. So basically opening it up to all universities, talking to all USGs, making sure that members and all coercing with universities and stuff like that, and basically every university should be aware. Because in my chapter, that's one of the issues I was facing. But I keep on coming up with recruitment drives, sitting out through the sun, for the whole day. People come up there we've never heard of this, we want to apply. And so while I was doing it, a member was like, you guys are doing this wrong. You guys are doing this all wrong. Because it's not about the effort that you put in. It's about the strategy that you use. Because you might use less effort and achieve the same result. So she was like, why don't you do this? Talk to the classrooms. Who will in turn talk to the students? Who will in turn tell other students? Because we might waste time in marketing ourselves. We might waste a lot of money in marketing ourselves. But we might be using a completely wrong strategy for marketing. So basically, marketing Kenya Model United Nations, making it the end thing in universities. People should want. They should want. They should not be told, yeah, hi, we Kenya Model United Nations, we do this. Guys should actually know what it is and want to be a part of us. That will increase participation in mock debates. It will increase participation in all these other activities that the UN calls us for. Not only main conference, because people think, yeah, you know what, KMUN is all about dressing up and going for a conference. Not really. People should know the primary values of KMUN, and they should be instilled in university. I believe that.
Further on that, from your explanation, I can deduce that it's more or less based on your USG, your 10 years of USG. But now you're going for SG. And I agree with you, the awareness one issue we have is going to be known out there. Not only in the university, but also out there, the country, by the government and all that. So how would you strategize to make MUN known? Not only in our university club members, but also something that maybe somebody, an MD somewhere, maybe for Safaricom, maybe the HR for Safaricom, when he hears KMUN, I want to know this, what strategies will you put in place in this session to make sure that KMUN is, the awareness of KMUN is created, not only within campuses, but also in the community society.
So we, the youth, we're major stakeholders in anything that happens in Kenya, anything that happens all over the world. We make about 40% of the world's population.
Sorry. Proceed.
We make about 40% of the world's population, and that is youth. And normally what happens with the youth is, in as much as we have this mindset that is the team mentality, our voice means a lot. So all these stakeholders, all these Safaricom, what you're talking about, the government, we, the youth, are a major player in anything that happens. And KMUN visions to become that platform. So using the views of our students, of the members, of the secretariat members, what we can do is we can try and tell these governments, hey, you know what? We, Kenya United Nations, we focus on cultural diversity. We are out to create youth who are diplomatic, impartial, neutral, This is what we're out for, and this is what we say. So are you guys going to listen to us and sell them our ideas? It might make a difference. I mean, in my platform, I said I'm champion to be able to make a difference. As small as it may be, but it's still a difference.
It has been my own tradition that something out there. So, what strategies would you put in place to ensure that this institution left out and that's the way that we want to should hire the inclusion of this stuff.
Yeah, I noticed Egerton and as much as you guys want to participate so much, what I'll do is if I take office, I'll give emphasis to the work plans that are going to be written by UNCs. And I'm going to give emphasis to some of your activities that you want us to collaborate in and find a way to enable Nairobi people or universities in Nairobi to be able to take up those activities, like involving us coming. It's all about like the coherency. If your work plans are like you have, for example, team building activities that you guys want to do, involving other universities from other places and giving you guys credit for being the initiators of that project, that activity. So basically involving you guys more and your activities into KMUN, and so that other guys can participate and your people cannot feel left out too. Because you guys might be having long holidays, we might be on session, we don't agree. And the only way that we can be able to know that is your action plans, your work plans, so that we can be able to find common ground for all the universities. That's the best we can do.
Apart from activities, you can you're not sure whether you will reach for an activity.
No, your work plan can involve anything that you guys feel that you want to do, that you want other universities to be aware of, that you want other universities to partake in. So basically it's, because the National Secretariat cannot do so much, the chapter has to take a stance, and be like, this is what we want to do. Help us help you. What do you want to do? We can only help you if you guys know what you want us to do. Because if you tell us this is what we want, then we can work towards what you want. But we can't think Egerton is so far. We can't be able to narrow down the distance in kilometers. But there's a way we can be able to do that. So it all depends on the USGs, the collaboration, that's all.
You answered is one of the very important to us. What should you do to motivate others? You can't expect us to just do activities. What does the National Secretariat motivate chapters from different places to do things and probably promoting the 8 SDGs that is supposed to do activities? Yes, but how you people, how do you motivate us to do those things, or how would you include us? Because most the whole year, I've just observed that UN has an activity, so guys have to go
But what does National Secretariat come up with? Yeah, that will include
Okay, Purity, that's why I said you guys need to tell us what you guys want to do. There's no way the National Secretariat will wake up one day early in the morning and say, you know what, we're going to have a team building in Eldoret. It doesn't work like that. You guys tell us what you want. Tell the USG. That's why I'm saying the USG should be open to the members, because the National Secretariat wants to be, is opening up. This is opening up one of the United Nations. Tell us what you want. Let's see how we can work towards what you want. You guys want, like activities, talking about Nairobi University and the activities. The Nairobi University USG wrote a work plan, you know? They said that this is what we want, we're doing it this. Be definite, like, be precise. What exactly do you guys want? You know, how can we involve you more in our activities? Through your USGs, through the COR, you know, then to the COR. Because the best that the JCOR can do is administration, you know, like, we can facilitate what you want, but we cannot tell the chapter what it wants. So you guys need to be definite about what you want. Champion for what you want. Then let us know.
How would you describe your teamwork, and do you expect to work well with the rest of the members of the Secretariat?
Yeah, I hope so. But basically, I do not value individual efforts at all. I believe that the contentment that we get from working together is what keeps us together. So everybody should know what they're supposed to do. Delegation, you know? Description. Know what you're supposed to do. Don't tell anybody. Like, you're not supposed to be reminded to do. But working together, because if you know you're the head, you're supposed to think. If you know you're the hand, you're supposed to hold things. But the head cannot hold things for the hand, you know? So you guys need to know, all need to know what you're supposed to do, then we can work together like that. Like, when everybody knows what they're supposed to do, then there's teamwork. But when there's confusion on what people are supposed to do, then I don't expect teamwork to be there, but I value team efforts.
Are there any further questions? Would you like to give a closing statement?
Closing statement.
Closing statement.
Yes, there's one thing I want to focus on is when you're a leader or when you're taking a position that is comprehensive of everything, mistakes are learned. You know, mistakes are learning opportunities. Mistakes are not meant to be crucified. Mistakes are meant to be learned. Right? So as a leader, everybody makes mistakes, and those are learning opportunities for us, either from ourselves or from mistakes that other people make. So my closing remark is, mistakes have been made, mistakes will be made, but we will learn from those mistakes. At the end of the day, we cannot say that we did not catch something from that mistake, and hopefully it will not happen again. But working together means, you know, everybody is going to do something that they're not supposed to do, but we can work our way through. That's basically going to close with.
I feel like this position of the Secretary General is one that is not maybe sometimes given too much thought or importance, but I feel like it's a very good and dynamic role. And for the Secretary General and generally the Secretariat to function properly, the Deputy Secretary General must be very reliable and supportive individual, and must be able to fill in the gaps. I believe I can do that.
So are there any questions for...
So, since this is a very large post, how do you believe that you are, what makes you believe that you're qualified to occupy the Deputy Secretary General? Because you understand how much work it is, the level of trust that we have to attribute with such a post. So what makes you believe that you can handle it?
Well, been in MUN for so many years, KMUN for 3 years, been to conferences, and recently bestowed a leadership position in one of the bureaus, and I've gained quite some experience from that. At the chapter level, I've been entrusted leadership positions, 3 different leadership positions at different times, and I believe that that particular fact demonstrates that I'm a dynamic character and who can be depended upon. What happens is someone fails to do their job, and our boss or ESG looks at the situation and says, I need someone to come and save the ship, because with the news. So I believe that I've demonstrated quite well, at least in the where I've been put, that is at the chapter level. I think I've done well enough there. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What are the roles of the ESG investigation in the constitutional framework?
First of all, the DSG deputizes the Secretary General, who is supposed to assume the role when the Secretary General is not around. Also, the Deputy Secretary General is in charge of, I could say, performance review. He's in charge of all the other sub-committees that are formed by the Secretariat. So in that aspect, it's like an overseer, and the SG needs to be able to count on that person to know that there are so many committees out there given up to so many people. I know that you can be effective in supervising them and making sure that they do their work well. Yes.
Secondly, what do you think are the challenges that the ESG faces in this position of the mandate?
First, I could say the GSG faces the possibility of being assumed. Yes, because, like for example, if the SG and the DSG have conflicting ideologies and plans for KMUN, that could bring a problem, and such a conflict is not desirable. So, if you may allow me, what I could say is, I am a very strong character myself. Those who know me may know that, but I'm able to humble myself and to do what's good for the good of the organization. And so I realized that if I was placed in the position of DSG, I'd have to sort of subvert my own ideas, and to be able to work with what it is that the leader, who is the SG, what he or she envisions for the club. I should be able to take those plans, make them my own, and I'm quite good at owning things. I don't know how to illustrate this, but I can totally internalize it, believe in your dream, and make it work. And I believe that's something very critical. It's very important for someone holding this role not to feel too much power and feel like I need to influence things and stuff. I feel like you should be more of a supportive person. Like, this is what we need to do, you do it. Not, I look at it and I'm like, no, we should actually do it like this. That's not the kind of person that
So what you anticipate basically is the subversion of roles, is assuming you're going to get the person.
Well, from what we've observed, what I've observed in various places, what causes people not to work well in organizations is everyone wanting to assert themselves a bit too much. Yeah? So that's one of the things that I want to address. Organizational structure. What does the Constitution say? What are our goals? Where do we want to go? What is the best way to get there? Simple as that. it's not about individuals and personalities and characters and whatnot, but just implementing the structure as should be. That would be one of the things that I would really focus on. Yes, structures. Yes.
One of the key rules in this one of the key mandates in this is on the constitutional mandate being in charge of the Security Council.
Yes.
Okay, what would be your ideal scenario for Security Council? Assuming you get into office. How would you maybe change your Security Council to be much more in line or to have articulate accurate simulations of the Security Council as it's done in the UN, New York?
Well, first of all, I would actually seek for. I would like to oversee a Security Council that is more active than it is currently. I would say. By that, I don't. By that, what I mean is, like for example, during the conference, sometimes you find a Security Council debates for 2 days or something. I would like to see a Security Council that is working from Monday to Friday. You know, coming up with good resolutions and bringing them forward. And I believe I'm well versed with on international relations, and especially those security matters. I have a personal interest in international affairs. My favorite channel is Al Jazeera. But anyway, also there's sort of like again the assertions and supremacy between GA, Security Council. Sometimes it plays out. The Security Council may in the way through the characters that represent it may come out as how do I say it, like trying to appear superior and whatever, and that repulses the General Assembly sometimes and makes them to despise you and not even want to hear what they want to say. I would want, as being the head of this organ, the Security Council, one of the very important organs, I would give it a more human face. You know, be able to work with each other and listen to each other and compromise more than just debate. But compromise is key, and discussions and deliberations rather than just debate and accusations. Yes.
For my assertion, I'm going to make a very realist. My presentation, from my the actual good ideas for you is that you tend to think the Security Council to be more or less they're presuming your ideas that of the Security Council, what you'd like to want to do is based on what you've observed from afar, but rather not interact with them. So I ask you, you said you've initially served in the GA's bureau.
Yes.
Have you ever made an attempt to get into the Security Council, or rather have you tried to interact with the Security Council? Understand the challenge that people go through? Yeah, basically that.
That is something that has been on my mind. I really wanted to know what happens in the Security Council and stuff like that. I've wanted to participate. And my last two conferences, I applied for Security Council. Unfortunately, I was not given that position, so I didn't get that opportunity. And when I was selected to be one of the DGs, I was excited because I thought through this I could have a chance maybe of chairing the Security Council and get to see what happens there. But then I later on came to realize that the Security Council DGs are separate from ones in the Bureau. So I have that handicap of not adequate experience in the Security Council, but I believe the knowledge that I do have is not that bad. It's quite good. And by the way, I'm a person who really loves to learn, and I'm very willing to learn, and I go out of my way to gain information. So in a situation where I'm the DSG and head of the Security Council, there's no way I'm going to work based on assumptions. I will seek you out. I'll seek out the people who have been there and carry you out, you know, because like you said, right now I'm working on just assumptions and what I've seen from afar. I need to know more, and I'm that guy who will bring myself down and come and ask you, tell me about this, tell me what I can do about this. Yeah, I don't know ego trip. Yeah.
One rule of power says never discredit yourself, huh? And basically, it's nice. It's nice, shows you're willing to learn. But I'll give this return. I think you should have done more for the interview. You should have reached out more.
Out of order, I think we're asking questions, we're not giving opinions here. So does anyone else have a question?
Yes, we should just
No, you can't give up opinions. You can't give an opinion. Do you have a question that you'd like to ask?
I'll take it.
Do you have a question?
No, it's basically.
Okay, we have a question from Shuki.
What do you regard as the most valuable change? What is the most valuable change?
One. Just one. Okay. Alright. I could say I'm a very committed person and reliable. Basically, committed and reliable. Committed in that when I set out on a cause, like I have this job, I have to do it. I will find, I go out of my way. I go out of my way sometimes to get things done. You know, be it working after hours, or even filling in for someone who's not able to work for one reason or the other, and stuff like that. I'm very committed and reliable in that. When you call on me and you need me to do something, and I believe being the SG, I expect the SG to call on me quite a lot and be like, I need you to present me here, or I need you to do this for me. I don't think you'll ever hear me say no. Never. I'm the guy that if you need me to do something for you, and I applied for this job and I got it, I will do it, and I'll do it with a passion. And part of that is driven by the fact that I have a passion for Premier. I want to see this thing grow bigger than it is, and spread wider, and just to have more effect and influence. And so that passion drives me to want to do as much as possible. So I'll actually be on my phone waiting to see your call, rather than hiding, like ignoring you or whatever. I'll be there. I'm very reliable, very committed to the cause. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So you're telling us that you will never say no. Do you realize the danger of yes man kind of mentality? Because you see, sometimes you disagree completely with what you said, and probably you're right, but because you're a yes man, you do something really wrong. So I think it is important that you tell us exactly what principles you have, because if you don't have principles of any kind, there's no reason for the SG to understand new stuff. Then you see you don't contribute, you're basically just waiting for contributions. So my question is, are you the kind of person that has the self-driven mentality, you know, where you can be sufficient on your own, not needing to get commissions or authorizations all the time. Because you know, as a DSG, sometimes maybe the SG is unreachable, and it falls on you to make decisions. So, are you the kind of person that is able to initiate
Yes, I am that kind of person. One of the biggest traits is that indeed I'm very self-driven. In fact, I don't do things that I don't want to do. I don't take up roles that people want me to take, or that kind of thing. I do what it is that I want to do. I'm a very self-driven person, and being DSG, and I know what the Constitution says about that office. I know what's expected of me. When an SG asks me, like, I don't expect an SG to ask me something that is uncouth. Because if you passed and you're the Secretary General, I really expect you to be someone of really good integrity and all that stuff. I don't expect you to come and ask me to do things that are against my principles or the principles and goals of KMUN. I have the constitution, I go through it. If you're asking me to do something that is against those principles that are in the constitution, there's no way I'm going to do it. Yes. So I carry out my role according to the constitution. Even if you come and tell me, look here, I know there's a constitution, but I want you to do this and this and that. I mean, come on, constitution is supreme. I'm a lawyer, so I know that the constitution is supreme, and I hope that answers you.
Okay, so last question, yeah? Because you must realize, just as I said before, that sometimes you have conflicts between people that are running the organization. So in the scenario where you and the SG, if you are this, have disagreed, right? What would you do?
I think the only place where I would disagree with SG is if the SG is doing things that are unconstitutional. And in such a situation, I believe again, the Constitution addresses all this.
I'm not talking about constitutionality here. I'm talking about you have an idea of what you want to do.
Okay.
The SG has another idea of how that thing should be done.
I've already addressed that, but I'll go back to it. I believe in distinguishing between Phil Mayo as the individual and the Director General, I mean the Deputy Secretary General. I have my ideas. I have things that I want to do and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily import 100% into my role. You see, so conflict of personality will be rare with me, rare if at all it should occur. So yeah, so the only kind of conflict I can foresee is as far as roads are concerned, and where that is concerned, the Constitution is there, and you go to it. Yes.
So you're saying that in terms of ideas, you don't foresee there will be a conflict between you and you say someone else who has to.
Okay. Like I said, I assume you're talking about, let's say, me and the SG, and like ideological differences. Like, let's say we want to do a project, and she wants something geared towards, he or she wants something geared toward environment, sustainability or whatever, and I want something else, maybe uplifting a bit or something like that. I love negotiations. I think I'm actually a good negotiator. First of all, I'll use my skills of language to try and convince he or she to agree with me. But at the end of the day, if they don't, I know who's boss, and I listen to the boss. And so, if this person wants us to do environment, we will do environment, and we will do it, and I will pursue it as if it was my own dream. Yes? Yeah, so I don't think that's being a yes man.
Final question.
Yes.
So as person wants to do this to you, I believe leadership is more than just maintaining what you find. So you as a person wants to do this, what do you think, or what are your plans for the future of this organization? Do you stay where you are? Do you have more projects? Do you have more projects? What are your plans?
I want to see, I want to oversee an organization that is more inclusive, I could say, and more integrated. Yeah, like I've seen in the year that is ending now, a lot of that has been done. People organizing events and they're calling people from other chapters and stuff like that. That is really great. But I'd like to see a lot more of that happen. You know, most of these initiatives come from like 1 or 2 chapters. I want to include all these other people, and I will personally reach out to all of them. And I would like to see us do more projects and just fun stuff. I'd like KMUN members not just to sit and wait for the conference. I'd like them to feel KMUN in their life every month and to enjoy it. That, yes. And I feel like how to say? No, let me just hand that.
Okay, but from that office,
Yes.
do you have any ideas, any specific ideas which you can advance to the National Secretariat or even to other ASGs? Sort of just, I understand expecting that even the chapters themselves forward ideas to you guys, propose to participate together. But from your office, do you think you have ideas, specific ideas? For example, we have like affiliations with other MUNs globally, or do we have something specific to take the club forward, to expand our efforts to grow it?
I'd be lying if I said that I have 10 very specific things in that line that I want to accomplish. But I will definitely formulate plans geared towards, I believe in like having, how do I say this, like goals, yeah? Goals, have them like what I said, inclusivity and integration. That's what's going to drive me. And then now, when I'm in office, I have a team to work with. Then we sit down, and based on that, we come up with very specific things that will advance that idea of inclusivity and integration. So I would like to work with a team. I believe teamwork is very important. So for me to come up right now and say, we're confirmed, and then I come to the Secretariat and I'm like, okay, so you guys, I have 10 things, this is what I've planned out, I have all the details, you have to agree with this. I don't believe in that. I believe in coming together with an idea, a basic idea, bring it to the table, we discuss, we formulate ideas together, we work out the details together as a team. I think that's very important.
Are there any further questions? Would you like to give a closing statement?
Yes. So, Deputy Secretary General, it's a high calling. It's a high calling, and I want you people to entrust me with this position because I believe that some of you have seen my demonstrated abilities, and you know that what I'm telling you is true and nothing but the truth. And when I pledge to do something, I can and I will do it. Like I said, my personality or what I want as an individual will never come and affect my work in the office. So you expect to see from a secretariat with me in a district, you expect to see a lot of professionalism, where personal issues are sorted out outside and also in a very professional manner without affecting the work that we do. I want to be the pivot of this secretariat, who can you're looking at the SG and you're looking at the other secretariat members, and I want to be there between them to be able to collect these ideas, bring them together, and just enforce this idea of teamwork, and listening to one another and that kind of stuff. I believe that I would like to be one person whom the secretariat members can come to me and tell me if there's a problem like where they can't do their work properly and stuff like that. And I would like to see a situation where we can handle that in a very professional way without having even to replace the person. Yes, I believe in coming up with solutions. I believe there's no situation that is beyond a very workable solution, by the way. And that's what drives me every day, for seeking solutions to everyday problems. I believe I can do that well in the National Secretariat. And thank you.
First things first, Kevin, can you please describe the roles of the DSG's Secretary in the Kenya Constitution?
The roles of the DSG are, first and foremost, is the deputy, deputizing the Secretary in matters concerning the administration of the organization as a whole. He or she is also supposed to run the Security Council in the conference. He's also supposed to have the contacts of all the USGs of the various chapters, in hand with coordinating as per the projects he receives and the proposals he receives for the various activities. He's supposed to coordinate together with the National Secretariat in conjunction with the USGs.
So that, do you think you are capable enough to dispense that mandate as a DST if you get to the position?
Yes, I believe I am. This is because I've been the USG for University of the main campus for the last 1 year. I started on a high note and I believe I've ended in a high note. In that, in between the sessions, in between the whole session, there have been activities, both formal and informal, which I've coordinated together with my local secretariat. These include things like CSR, the cleanups. We have done cleanups at Okulma Market, mentorship. We have done road trips, we have done camping. We have engaged with various contacts that I have, diplomatic contacts with the Embassy of Italian Embassy, the Japanese Embassy, the Spanish. So I believe I'm very capable.
Thank you so much for the homes. Anyway, going forward, what do you think are the challenges that make you be less efficient as a DSG, or maybe the defects, because everybody has got their plus side and their negative side? What do you think are some of the challenges you face personally may hinder you from attaining whatever you want as a DSG?
For one, I believe I'm very patient. So if I get a team that is not working so well, I can be patient with them. But I believe in team effort that can be handled.
Coming off the back of one of the most active chapters in KMUN,
Yes.
what sort of ideas would you like to bring to the office of the Deputy Secretary General?
First and foremost, I would like to change the constitution to have the position of the projects as one of the main positions in the National Secretariat. This is because I've seen almost in all sessions, after the conference, guys are quiet for about 4 months, which there could be activities running up, also informal and formal. So as when we gear up to the warm-up, there are certain activities also running up, so as to have the session running from March to March, not just from maybe September to March.
Just for clarification, you like the implementation of a new office or projects office?
Yeah.
My question is that I tend to have a problem with that.
Yeah.
For instance, we have a different understanding of the Constitution, the previous Constitution we had before we had our MUN draft, in that the DSG is in charge of all other committees created by the KMUN National Secretariat.
Yeah.
One of these other committees is supposed to be the projects team. Now, if you want to make the projects team or the projects office a permanent office within the KMUN Constitution, the KMUN session, for that matter, I believe there's a chance left or open up during that session, the 14th session, whereby everybody was supposed to vouch in on what they'd like to see done as per the Constitution. Why did you not take this chance then? Because now we have a harmonious draft that's going to have one Constitution that lists everything the way we're supposed to run,
Yes.
and it's the binding document currently that's been used to register the organization in the AG's office. How or why would you not to address that thing first, and how do you intend to proceed? If you want to change the Constitution from there, how do you intend to proceed from there actually?
For one, to my understanding, at that time, I didn't think the project's position was so important. But I've come to realize that channeling everything to one person is a big help, considering he's running other ad hoc committees, he's running the administration of the office. So I believe if you have one person who is responsible for that position, that's more responsibility. So as if anything fails, you'll be looking up to that person to ask the questions.
Would you be satisfied running the project office under your bureau in case that your bid for amendment of the Constitution fails?
Yeah, I'll be satisfied, and I would, with the help of my secretariat, I would seek to have more of a committee constituting of other people to help me than, because considering it's Kenya-wide, we don't have only activities based on my approach, but a wholesome approach to the others.
Given that you're vying for the position of the Deputy Secretary General, what do you envision as the role of the Security Council? Is there any particular way that you'd like the Security Council to be run or handled?
The Security Council in the conference?
Yeah.
I would advise the USGs, the coming USGs, to forward, as Michael had done previously, to forward their names so as from the word go we have a set number of guys presenting the Security Council, because it's a serious, I would say a serious committee than the others, and I would seek to have the implementation they do, the resolution they do, be forwarded somewhere so I have the benefit, not just coming 1 week, do solution, guys are certified, then everything is done.
First, I'd like to clarify, the Security Council is not more serious than the others. It's just that its resolutions are binding on non-member states. But what sort of role do you want? Because I've noted as President of the General Assembly that the Security Council sometimes do not have what I would call a defined role, or they do not know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, especially from, let's say, the mock debates and following up to the conference. So what exactly would you like implement, like a certain set of way in which the Security Council would be run, like even during conference? Would you guys have your own program?
Oh, my own program at the Security Council. Yes, the agenda items would be there, but also I remember in the last conference they were receiving the resolution of the resolution of different committees. Then they almost like shut down all committees due to some interest involved. I'm not sure we disagree on that, but I would disagree on terms of how they receive and how they go about it, because I believe when a resolution is passed in the GA, it's supposed to be strong in that you don't come, it's not presented in the Security Council, then it's just shut down. There's supposed to be like explanation to why you shut down certain resolutions. Yeah.
Would you prefer a system in which the Security Council offers recommendations on resolutions that are passed down from committees, which are then taken to the General Assembly instead of framing resolutions in the Security Council?
Yeah, amendments and inclusive of other, maybe they feel other things are left out in that resolution. I believe they could adapt that, shuttling the whole solution.
Another question. Yes. The DSG basically means that you're second in command to KMUN.
Yes.
This basically means that second in the helm of KMUN, basically. Now, I'd like to know, definitely when it comes to leadership, especially the National Secretariat, they're bound to dissenting, conflicting ideas and ways of doing things. How, as a leader, do you personally, are you intending to handle such? Because definitely, you don't know about the future, but you can predict there might be or maybe not. Suppose something comes up, maybe there's maybe some dissent in the National Secretariat. How do you intend to handle it?
For one, yes, things happen. It's Murphy's law. It's called things happen. Things are bound to happen, though, and they do happen. From my experience in the local secretariat and other leadership position I hold, I believe teamwork and communication is key. As much as maybe a certain post will feel that you are not maybe performing as required, or you are overrunning the office as a second in command, I believe when you communicate well in advance, and teamwork, and a lot of patience and understanding, you can work.
Yeah. What if, first of all, say you are a weakness, you're impatient in the first place,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to be patient now. How do you intend to cover that?
I'm working up on my impatience. I would say from last year, I've learned to be patient, because when I was in the US, I was a USG at March last year. In March last year, I was so impatient with the guys, the members, the secretariat, but I've come to understand people are different, people have different issues, and when you are in Kenya MUN, bring the interests of Kenya MUN forehand. So other things, just put them aside.
So those are the basic matters of Kenya, maybe the internal matters of Kenya MUN. Now, I'd like to hear you in a nutshell, basically. Can you tell us what you envision for the 15th session of Kenya MUN if you hold the post against you? Or rather, what inputs are you going to bring into the Secretariat that's going to make Kenya MUN better than it is with the 14th session?
First and foremost, different activities. I believe I love activities, different activities at different times, both formal and informal. I'll try my best to have a lot of activities, not just 3 CSR and 3 MOOC debates and warm-ups and a conference. I'll seek to have inclusive of other activities, both formal and informal, such as I've seen in the different catalogs that there are celebration of, like today is International Women's Day. I'll seek to have the Kenya MUN be part of such forums, be part of not just SEMA or anything, but other different, both small, little, Kenyan, international. I also feel that we should not just be Kenya MUN for that's one session, then you leave. This should be an open institution for guys, all guys. I believe we are students. You should open up in terms of work, in terms of opportunities, in terms of engagements. I can give an example. I've seen someone, a researcher, was Kenya model UN of Austria, Chicago. Due to her work in Kenya, due to her work in model UN, she received work as at a organization called Global Security because of how she wrote her resolution, how she was focused on researching. So I believe if we dwell on that from the chapter level to the national level, research, then we come up with quality stuff to present meant to guys. You can treat even those resolutions as part of maybe all applications. Yeah.
I believe that you're presenting your ideas very well in a proper manner. But what can you rate your writing skills? What are your ability of being able to transform your ideas into paper? Like, can you rate your writing skills? Because DSG is a very technical course. So can you rate your writing skills and how you can be able to communicate using your writing without necessarily
My writing come up again.
Writing formal documents. Can you use what are your writing skills basically? Can you hit the point using the tools, or can you hit the point of paper?
Yeah, I believe I can. I've done different leadership experiences, and also I've been taught about writing speeches, writing reports, and I believe I can. I've done different reports at different organizations. At Lasandra last year, we did, together with some guys, we did a concept paper for the Chief of Staff of the African Union. We also done an article in the Society for International Development, so I believe I can write well.
Are there any further questions? Okay.
Kevin.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again.
My question is, how can you make as DSG for the 15th session of Kenya United Nations? How can you make your presence and your influence in that capacity be felt straight down to the chapters? And I mean both chapters inside and outside the group. How can you, how will you go around and make sure that all those USGs get your support, and also you can connect them where they're going from, irrespective that you wait until major events so that you can correct them?
Good question. And and it's very challenging considering most of the chapters are in Nairobi. But I believe with good communication and timely response, not just posting things on FB or email, even a simple text like, how guys are you doing? Or maybe if you get a chance, you can travel even to Moi, you get a chance, which is next to minimum. But I believe communication is key, and just state what you want and have their views as the USGs in hand. Because I've come to realize there's a problem of time. Different chapters have different time schedules, so commitment in various activities is wanted. So I believe when you talk first to the USG, then you come up with a compromise on certain dates. It's better than just coming up with dates, then commanding them to be in those, to be active in certain activities which are against their time schedules.
Now, I have to ask this thing.
Yeah.
So, being ESG, you must realize that your position affords you a lot of responsibility as well as powers. Now, there is also an authority above you, being the SG. So, what would be your view in a current role you disagree with the Secretary General on substantive issue? So, how would you negotiate your
when we are in a disagreement with the SG? I boil it down to communication. Then again, you are not just running the organization, 2 of you. You are 5 of you in the national secretariat. So when maybe an issue of that you are in disagreement with the Secretary General, when you are in disagreement with the Secretary General, I believe when you communicate well, then you seek the advice of the other officials in the National Secretariat and the oversight. Maybe that would be solved. If not, you just state your things, then the Secretary General state their things, then you see the way forward in terms of how easy is your points and how easy is their point.
I'm asking basically, for example, the Secretary General becomes unreachable, you cannot contact him or her, and it is a few days before meeting your partner. So what would you do?
This may sound bad, but I would run the show. In terms of, yes, no one is talking, you are the only one, the USGs are asking, the USG tell us what's happening, and on the other side, no one is talking to you. So you just run things as they are supposed to do, as they are supposed to run in the Constitution. If maybe you are doing, I'll give an example, I'll mock debate, and the SG is not talking, and the host USG is asking you, what's the plan? You run the show. Yes.
Are there any further questions? So, do you have any closing statements?
Yeah. I run in the principle 3 C's. These are changes, phases, and chances. And I believe if we are positive in everything, we can make MUN big. I've been hinted about the Alumni Association of MUN. I'm sure I've looked into that because, as I said earlier, let's not MUN, and after you get your degree, let it run to the whole of your life. Yeah.
Well, during my time in Kenya Modern United Nations, I have taken note that, for example, from last year's conference, several delegates are not well versed with rules of procedure, document drafting, and that's one thing I would really like to pay keen attention to. Because MUN is only fun when everyone participates,
And what normally happens during conferences is that each committee will have the dominant speakers, and then there are people whose voices will only be heard when the president stating the president voting during roll call. So, for one, I believe, first of all, when I'm selecting director generals, I will pay keen attention when it comes to training them, because at that point, at least I know they'll go back to their chapters and impart the same knowledge on the chapter members. Although I do acknowledge that not all chapters will have a director general in the PGA bureau. So I plan to work very closely with the Council of Representatives, such that if a USG, if not the USG of a chapter, they can maybe give, they can suggest someone in the local secretariat who can possibly come, and we have maybe a class or two on rules of procedure. I'll also take it upon myself to prepare a package for which I will forward to all USGs so that it can help them in training all their members. On top of that, I will also do my best to at least try and attend local chapter meetings for most of the chapters. I do acknowledge that some of them are out of town, and I would have to come up with appropriate measures to deal with that.
So in what direction do you see yourself taking the General Assembly?
Well, for one, the General Assembly is the largest branch of Kenya MUN United Nations, and I would really want to make it the place to be, because you'd find that most chapter members are in the GA, and like I said, there's very inadequate preparation for conference. And in dealing with some of our problems, for example, out of town, chapters that are not in Nairobi County, I would first of all focus on funding, because we really need to either provide a means for because most people won't come for events because of maybe payments or they can't make it. So I would really work hand in hand with the National Secretariat, specifically the next finance director, in finding a way to bring funding to our club so that we can actually give sponsorship and scholarships for conference, and we can actually maybe reach a point that we can actually maybe say we can afford to bring more annex students to Nairobi for this event.
Do you think there is room for improvement in the quality of the base that we have? And if not, if there is, that is, how do you plan to improve that quality?
There is plenty of room for improvement. Like I said, most delegates do not know rules of procedure, and they do not know how to draft documents. So for one, I would really want to work on other aspects of the General Assembly, such as lobbying. I would want delegates to know that they can lobby for their resolution and get other countries on board to support them. And hopefully in the next conference we can have a session where we have lobbying emerging only before the main conference. That normally happens in the East Africa anyway. In addition, I'll also really work hand in hand with Director Generals and make sure they're trained appropriately so that we can handle committee sessions during mock debates. And also, mock debate attendance is really poor, and I know there is a rule in place that you have to have attended 2 mock debates for you to attend the main conference, and it's not really enforced. So I'll really work at enforcing that, because I don't think we should. Right now, I believe most people just believe, can UN, we can UN, and a free certificate will put on my CV. We should change that mentality, really, because I have participated in MUN, and I think you have more fun when you're talking and you're debating and just sitting there. So just generally changing the mindset.
Okay, as a follow-up on that, do you have any ideas or specific plans for you to improve, for example, like you said, it's very true that we have very minimal participation. It's very few people and as a consequence, we end up simulating mostly one committee. So do you have specific plans or ideas to encourage improved participation so that we have even more committees being simulated in every...
First of all, I would believe communication I will assume that some chapters did not attend because maybe there was poor communication from one party to the other. So I would work with the communications director to dispatch communication on mock debate dates, and also on agenda items and the theme. I would really do my best to make sure that it's out on time, such that delegates can do their research. On country allocations, I believe sometimes participation is poor because people get their countries late. So I would really work hand in hand with the conference director to make sure that people for GA have their countries on time so they can do the accurate research. Because sometimes people are actually discouraged. They're like, I don't even have a country and the mock debate is tomorrow. Honestly, I can't just go there unprepared. On top of that, sorry, please repeat your question.
No, it's okay. Thank you for answering.
Okay, given that you've said so far what I've heard from you is a lot of work with other members of the Secretariat, what happens in a situation where one member of the Secretariat is maybe failing at a job that is crucial to your docket? So what would you do in such a situation?
Well, I believe as the Secretariat, we are a team. So I would first of all speak to the Secretary General and raise my issue, and hopefully we can have a meeting and with the said member of the Secretariat and discuss, honestly just call them out and say this needs to be done, and at the end of the day accountability is one of the things that the National Secretariat has to handle. So we just deal with it as a Secretariat and hopefully move forward.
One more question. You say that not all chapters are going to have the capacity to have a Director General and personally the training the members. What about the local PTA in those various chapters? Because I feel that the office of the General Assembly does not really take into consideration those particular persons, because they are very important, very integral in the day-to-day training of those members. They know which member is fit now to go to conference and debate, and the other database of those ones who are active. How are we going to boost relations with those particular PTA, the PTA of those local chapters in order to foster your dream or your manifesto?
First of all, in my chapter, Kenya and MUN Parklands chapter, we do not have the office of the PGA. I personally took it upon myself as the deputy USG, and because I'm also the vice president of ECOSOC for the upcoming conference, I'm the one who has been training members, new and old, for conference. So that is why I had said I would work really close with USGs. It's either the USG or someone in the local secretariat who will come, and I would send them the relevant materials and possibly even hold a class or two on how to train their members. Yes. Because there are several aspects of MUN that I don't think we take advantage of. For example, the Uniting for Peace. I would really like to see resolutions from the Security Council being brought to the GA to be debated. I want to see such scenarios. I want to see crisis situations where we bring up random crisis situations and delegates can sit down and make a resolution, because there are several aspects of MUN that are not fully exploited.
As a follow-up to that question, I think from what I've seen previously, the PGAs that have come before have been having meetings with the USGs and the people that they've been coming to the local chapters. For Strathmore, I know they've come for us, and they've taught, they've even had classes. But do you think, is it possible for you to impress upon the chapters or to encourage that there should be debates even before we get to the local situations? Is that something from the platform? To have people prepare even more for the conference and even to make it also encourage participation and people having sight for activities?
Personally, in my chapter, I have been holding mock simulations so that I could give members a feel of what actually happens at conference, and they've been going well, and I believe that they learn a lot, because you can take them through rules and procedure for a whole afternoon and then just forget. But if you give them an opportunity to actually apply them, And personally, it was training for myself because I'm going to be a chair. So part of what I will encourage USGs or PGA bureaus or chapters is to also, after training the members, to hold simulations, because that's very important.
So
and I believe, and then also I believe if you hold a simulation in your chapter and guys have fun, they'll be like, oh, okay, this is what probably happened at Motivate, I should go for it. Because I think even chapters which have been trained, maybe the training was boring and tiresome and tedious, so they're like, Motivate is not such a good idea. So just make it a bit more fun. I hope I've answered the question. Please repeat it.
Because what I was saying is, yes, okay, that's been done. People have been having meetings. PGAs have been having meetings with the cities and the local chapters. Question is, what more do you think your office can do? Is there something more that you think that your office can do? And if there is, what is it that you think you get? For example, if you said, I'm just giving a scenario of myself, if I was a PGA, and that's been done before. If I came today to say Strap, and said, we're going to choose people, the rules and procedures. Do I have a plan to come back and speak as well? Okay, since we last days of this students week, can we do a mock simulation today? Is that something you have a plan?
I think it's quite straightforward, and I think I outlined that earlier. That yes, it is possible. It is. I think people are discouraged to come for Motivate because what the training they have or they have not received is not quite encouraging. So I'm all about making it a fun experience, trying to make people participate, because we can't just have 2-3 people speaking in a committee and the rest of people are just sitting down. So yes, I would advocate for mock simulations within chapters, and I would facilitate that by making sure that there is someone in that chapter, if not a Director General for the PGA Bureau, someone who is capable of being the chair, being a mock chair and handling the simulation.
What's your aspiration in
life? My aspiration in life? Well, I'm currently doing law. After doing my attachment at the law courts, I realized that litigation and the court process is not really for me. I'm really keen on alternative dispute resolution, so that's something I'd really like to look into. I'm also into diplomacy and international relations, so something about that.
Where do you see this club or the PGA club is within the next year, if you're given the chance to be the president of the General Assembly?
Well, I would really love to see the club at working at international standards, because if you compare EA and UN, and these are high school students from Kenya and UN, there's a big difference. So the main thing as PGA, the one key thing I would really work on is training, rules of procedure, and document drafting, because people need to know that for a GA session to work with. And once that is achieved, I believe people will be more prepared to participate and make the proceedings more.
So you say there's a very big difference between East Africa and UN and Kenya and UN, right? If I may ask, what do you think the problem is that they are? Yes, they are high school students, but like you said, they are, ahead of us. And how will you tackle that challenge? Say, do you have any ideas on how you can study a case study that you can use? Because I believe that if you want to learn how to climb a tree, you have to learn it from someone who has climbed that tree, right? So what is your plan in terms of study? Because I know you have to study other events and how they do it. And what's the difference? In your own opinion, what makes it the difference?
I'll just start as a local at Kenya, because I'm not had the privilege of attending an international UN. So when I was in East Africa and UN, for one, it was more organized. All delegates were aware of rules of procedure, and there was a lot of participation. And delegates came prepared. They knew anything and everything about the country and the region and global issues. The advantage I think high schools have is that it's a set system. 8 to 5, and if let's at that time you're still under your teacher or your supervisor. So if your supervisor or the chair lady or chairman of the club says there's a meeting, and it's at lunchtime, you really have, because since there is a timetable, you literally have no reason to. And also, I think, for example, in Kenya, anywhere now the university setting, you have different timetables. Like, for example, in Parklands, our classes don't run from 8 to 5, so maybe someone will have a class at 2 or 11. So scheduling meetings is really difficult for everyone to attend. And then, like, for example, if I say our meeting days are Wednesday at 11:30, someday on those Wednesdays, that's the best date for us. But at the same time, we still have the issue of some people don't have class, so they're not going to just have school for a 2-hour meeting, and people who still have class at that time. So there's that difference. In high school, it's easier to manage. Once you're in university, you're an adult, and I think even though you are in the local secretariat, you can't start commanding and telling people come for the meeting, because we're peers again. So that's a problem. And also in terms of organization and timekeeping, in high school you're still obedient, let me say, and let's say your school will make sure you're there on time. But for example, here it's still your peer is telling you the bus is leaving at 8. Some people will not take it seriously as others. So personally, I believe that, and also in high school, also training is more efficient because it's easier to train. The members are always available, and it's easier to set a time. So it's just basically for Kenya MUN, for us to reach EA MUN, we just have to focus on training members and just making the club look fun, because delegates from EA MUN had so much psyche and enthusiasm for the club, and I think people in Kenya MUN, not everyone has the same drive. So
do you think people lack that drive because of lack of incentives? Because, like for example, I may not disrespect, when you say that after the conference, what ideas do you have to come up with incentives? When you say after the conference you're going to be given a certificate, yeah, it's very good, by the way. It builds your career, but like you say, you yourself, you don't want to go into litigation, right? So most probably, yes, that certificate will give you that what we call it, that platform, maybe that reputation. I have a certificate from Kenya MUN signed by who. But then, so does over 100 other people. So the lack of incentives, like for example, that exposure, when you say I'm going for the conference, but apart from the certificate, do you think there's something else that we can do? And if there is, have you ever thought of an idea that maybe can be done?
For one, unless I'm wrong, this conference is more strict. You have to have submitted a resolution for you to get a certificate. I'm not sure if that is being implemented, but that's what I've heard. So that's one way of getting people to be more participative and really take time to prepare for conference. So I think we're already moving in the right direction, because you won't just come for conference, sit for a week and just get a certificate. You have to put in some effort. So on top of that, I would I think it's just about making Kenya MUN the place to be. We need to raise the bar. We can't just continue letting guys who have never attended a mock debate come for conference unprepared. We need to make it in such a way that we raise the bar such that when people know Kenya MUN, they know it's no joke. Like, you have to actually read and study and prepare for it. You can't just go, because you'll actually embarrass yourself if you go unprepared. So I think that's what we should be about. So we should become stricter on attendance of mock debates, and also as the Director General say, work on events that will work, that will help members interact with each other and make the club more fun.
So, last question. MUN as alumni, I believe, and some of them they have some kind of influence, I believe. Is there a way, an idea that you have where we can bring them on board in the training, like you say, because it seems that we have a lot of problems in the training, and these are people who have already done the conference, they are experienced in it. Do you think there's a way they can be brought on board?
Hopefully maybe at events like the warm-up, and maybe I would try and work with USGs to get their outstanding alumni to come and help out and come to meetings. Because there are those people, like maybe if you're a first year and you went for conference and this guy will come first and he was really good. So maybe encourage members if he comes and talks to them and helps train and holds a simulation.
Anita, being a likable leader nowadays is too mainstream.
Being a
So, in your view, we're going to have director generals, chairs, and co-chairs. What if you have conflict? Let me not speak in Swahili. Now, this is where I want to employ. What are you going to do to maintain discipline so that you can get that quality that you need from the trainings? Also, you have all those the local PSCAs. You need things to be done this particular way. You need resolutions to be drafted. You say that in order to get a certificate, if you a draft resolution, you may speak so nicely there. You may put everything good on paper to send it to the university. But how are you going to make sure that you enforce that particular policy that you promised us right now? It's going to happen in the near future, so that you can develop so that you can reach the international standards that you have stated.
Well, for one, I don't agree on the resolution. You must have submitted a resolution for conference aspect personally, because for one, we're so many delegates. Let me estimate about 500, and we can't have 500 resolutions. And let's say maybe a couple of countries merge, so we have about 400. We cannot deliberate on 400 resolutions in 5 days, approve them. So I would, yes, encourage delegates to write resolutions, but 400 is too many. You can't say you have to write a resolution to get a certificate. I would say you'd have to come with a letter of credentials and a position paper for you to get a resolution. I think that's more appropriate, and it shows some effort, because you'd have to have researched in the country and know what you're actually doing. And sorry, please repeat your question. Oh, sorry, how we do? Okay, that's one way. And also when it comes to my bureau, yes, I believe in teamwork. I believe we should all get along. But yes, of course, we will have those bad heads. For example, training. I will really be strict on that. I will, because I'm taking my time to train. I will hold training sessions every week, once a week. As a DG, you take the time to apply and believe that you're capable of becoming a director general of conference. You should at least attend 2 training sessions. That would be my rule. If not, I will simply remove you, because I know I will find someone else to do the job. That would be one of my stringent measures. I will also have random, let me say, cuts or exams and quizzes for my DGs, and really, hopefully, even visit their chapters and see how they are carrying on their meetings and training with members.
That's great. The disciplinary measures will be taken by you under that particular bureau. What are you going to do if they don't follow instructions despite you? Because you have to be the boss. Being president of General Assembly is not something out of the body.
Personally, I do not believe in dictatorship. It's not a good way of leadership. At the end of the day, your bureau members will lead you and you won't be able to work with them. So I do not believe in dictatorship. I believe in dialogue. Honestly, there are always 2 sides to a story. Yes, you're being a kichwa ngumu, forgive my Kiswahili, but there has to be a reason. I will attempt dialogue and ask you what is wrong, what is the problem, and thereafter we can come to a solution. If you continue being a hardhead, I will just have to put my foot down there and make a decision as the president of the General Assembly.
Thank you.
My question is regards to the last meeting where we have to pass the resolutions. So, to me, that's we just vote for the sake of the connectivity and probably good for that committee. So I know that it's very important that for that session. How effective are you going to make that session important? And it should be like as short as possible. And just want to know what you want to know about it because it has a very
Personally, for one, since I think it was unimportant because it was more of agenda-based. So it was based on maybe agenda 1, agenda 2 of your committee. But right now you have the liberty to type in anything and everything. So I think it would be more participative because it would be, because you know most of the time, like for example, last year I was in committee 2 and I feel our resolution was failed because yes, lack of time. We had several operative clauses causing much resolution. And in addition, I don't believe the General Assembly understood our agenda item. It was on tax havens. So I think the best way for GA to work is if, for one, it starts early. Because you know what normally happens is everyone is tired in the afternoon and they're having a resolution. So there's a point guys are like, let's just pass it or let's just fail it. And that's not the mentality. This committee has worked hard and deliberated on this resolution and it should be given its due diligence during the General Assembly. So I believe General Assembly, hopefully the whole of Friday should be set aside for General Assembly.
Yes, I am, because one of my personal rules is time lost can never be regained. So if the conference is to be held in 2 weeks' time and have things to do that are supposed to be done in 2 weeks' time, I believe I'm supposed to be done in 3 days' time. If possible, at most 1 week, you should have ample time to review everything that you've done, revisit it. If there are any problems, you change it. If there are any adjustments to be made, you do it, so that to avoid the last minute trash. When you do things the last minute and under pressure, you tend to mess up a lot. So I believe time is really important, especially for the conference director, because like right now, probably I should be starting, quote unquote, to plan for next year's conference, so that everything is ready. Right.
I like how you say that. I also like to ask about your flexibility and your ability to think on your feet, because conference director is an office where the situation is very fluid. Things are always changing. Things can happen at any particular time. So how good do you think you are in terms of your flexibility and your ability to adapt to the situation?
Flexibility. I know I'm flexible. It's been tested a couple of times from the time I entered the MUN. I have been able to assist a couple of people where most of them were stuck, just on impulse thinking. Let me put it like that. Impulse thinking that borders more on what is supposed to be done at that particular time, that is effective and efficient and is straight and direct to what is supposed to be done.
So what would you do to improve the vibrancy of our conference? What particular thing do you think that we can improve on or we can make better?
Personally, I don't think there's anything to improve, because the match I've been in, I think everything has been done up to par. The advertising is okay, the whole country allocation is perfectly fine, nobody's complaining, everything is just perfectly fine. I just build on it. I don't think I'll improve on it.
Okay, how about your ability to work with others? Because conference director requires you to work with, I think, every member of the secretariat very closely in achieving the goals of your office.
I'm a people person. I can't work on my own. No man is an island. You always have to have someone around you, or people around you, to assist you when you're wrong, or when things are not going the way you want them. So I think work delegation is really important. Give someone a particular thing to do. When it's not done, you don't have to ask around who hasn't done it. You go to that specific person, which is very easy. So that when I'm being apprehended for not doing my job properly, I know who to talk to, or I know who to ask what is not happening.
So the position of conference director is one where, as Brian puts it, without warning. Now, there are some times when you might disagree with your superiors, just by superiors I mean the DSG or the SG. When that happens, what is your position?
My position has always been dialogue. There is always a midpoint for everything. In every discussion, there must be two extremes. There is always one who's an absolutist who always won't budge and just stick to his views. Then there is one who's a moderate who accommodates everything. So, personally, if we're disagreeing, I would listen to your point of view, know where the problem is, and sort out the specific point where you have a problem. If possible, come to a compromise. Of course, we won't entirely agree on it, but at least let's find a common ground where we're going to be and move on from there.
What happens when the leadership in charge of you has given you an order that you do not agree with? Do you still carry it out?
I will give my opinion against it, but I'll still do it. Because the person who's given me that order knows why it should be done. As much as I don't agree with it, he or she has actually a very good reason for giving me that particular order.
Okay, what would you say about your ability for taking and giving orders?
Orders. I think orders is too strong a word. I'd like to call it teamwork, because I prefer giving orders. Yes, I am superior than somebody down there, but I don't like to make it that kind of environment. If you make that kind of environment, it will be very difficult for you to work, because the moment you give someone an order and they don't agree with it, they can't come to you and try to correct you, because they probably think you'll lash at them or something because you're superior. But the moment you have teamwork in your group, and the moment you give an order that they think is a little off, or they probably believe something needs to be changed or something needs to be added or subtracted, it's easier to sit down and, in a diplomatic way, deliberate about it.
So last question. Now, what makes you think that you're prepared for this post, given that what other posts have you occupied, either in your local chapter or anywhere else, that gives you the reasoning to believe that you are capable of handling complex threats?
Before I entered University, I did a course at African University, where I first was handpicked to be a mentor for the incoming students. So after a while, like 2-3 months down the line, the head of the Dean of Students Affairs chose me to be head coordinator for the mentorship program at African University, where I had to work with people, literally had to work with people who are below me, but still work with them as a whole, so that the whole mentorship program didn't look like a few individuals. It looked like we were all on the same page, so that in case I am not around, they know who to approach, who will virtually represent me. So I worked with them. I was head mentor for I think a year before I decided to step down. Not step down as such, retire, because they were having a new election and I did not want to go for another term, because we were the pioneers of the mentorship program at the University. So I believe that 1 year I was there, I think I should have provided the groundwork for anybody else who wanted to be mentored in African University.
So, what are the roles of the Commerce Director? Okay, MUN as stipulated in the Constitution.
The
roles
of
the Commerce Director in the Constitution.
Okay. First, the Conference Director is responsible for all the conferences, the mock debates, and the main annual Kenya MUN conference. The conference director keeps a list of every individual member, who include the National Secretariat, Council of Representatives, conference officers, individual members, and others. The conference director is responsible for, how do I put it, quote unquote, advertising for the National Secretariat, any event that the National Secretariat of the MUN is holding. The conference director also, under the instruction of the Secretary General, organize meetings for the National Secretariat. And by putting it under the instruction doesn't mean that only the conference director is the one who's doing it. The Secretary General can ask anybody else to do it. I believe those are some, if not all of them. Not
Okay. Currently, MUN is based on a structure, basically. National Secretariat, COR, basically a hierarchical structure that is in place. And the conference director, as a post, has a specific slot in the hierarchical structure, and the policy making and the administration of the organization itself. So how well do you think you're going to fit in this hierarchical structure as an individual, in this office basically?
How well will I fit in? I'll fit in. It's not how well I'll fit in, it's how will you adapt to the post that you're given. Because I believe whenever you're put in a post, or better yet, when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. That's the best I can put it. So I think I know I can adapt. It isn't that difficult. If anything difficult has to come, I know who to approach, I know who to ask. So I believe I am capable enough to be conference director and virtually do the job well.
So what are some of the qualities you think have that make you adapt and become the ideal conference director?
First, it's not qualities I think I have, it's qualities I know I have. One of them is, I'm a people person. I don't like working on my own. Working on your own is, how do I put it, boring. You'll pile so much things on you that eventually you crack. And when you crack and the pressure becomes too much, everything goes haywire. I'm pretty flexible, very flexible actually. I believe I can think on toes. As in, if something has to be changed, you think on the spot and effect it. And if you have a problem with probably anything, I will encourage to be corrected. Because man is to err. We all make errors and we are all supposed to be corrected at some point. Because we never get everything right. I believe I am efficient and effective. Very effective. Because I think I know actually the 1 year I've been in MUN, any task that I've been asked to undertake, I think I have done it to the latter and to the best that it can be done. I am quite articulate. As you can hear me talk, I'm actually very vocal. I'm quite opinionated. So, as much as yes, you give me orders, I will do them. But I'll make sure that even if I do it, if I have a problem, I'll do it. But then again, you will have to get my opinion on it.
Final question for me. Yes. Please. It's actually two questions. First question, you say that you've been MUN for 1 year. So I'm wondering, during this session, in your opinion, do you think this 1 year, this one span, is adequate time for you to garner enough sort of experience in MUN matters? It can help you, it can make you really an ideal candidate to fill this conference director. Second question I wanted to ask was, answer that one, please.
Okay. Time. As much as, yes, you've said time lost can never be regained, I don't think time is a factor for choosing a person for an office. Yes, experience you have to get, but if you have the right predecessor who can help you and guide you towards what is supposed to be done, I believe you will be the right candidate. You will be the right person for the job, with the right training and the right person and the right guidance. Yes, there has to be time, of course, because you have to understand the workings and everything that goes on in Kenya. And I believe 1 year is actually enough for me to know the workings and everything about the Kenya. And I think it is fit for me now to vie for this position.
Since you've got your wife in there, last time you came back, how are you going to handle dissent? Then, for example, you see you have the facts right, you know what exactly supposed to do as a corporate director, and maybe somebody in the National Secretariat seems to maybe encroach on your mandate. Or maybe just think of any scenario whereby you can maybe be in a conflicting situation with any member in the National Secretariat or a member in your engagement. How are you going to handle dissent as a leader in the Congress director, as a Congress director?
Conflict. There will always be conflict. Every single day. At some point we will always disagree. We will always disagree, that's a fact. How you handle the disagreement is everything. You don't just approach it head first. Approaching it head first is suicidal. Because you might approach it head first, not want to listen to reason, and when you finally do what you think is right and it fails, you will have lost all confidence from everyone. The secretary, people working under you. And the worst thing for a leader is to have lost the confidence from the people who are under you. That's why I call it suicidal. Because after that, I can assure you, nothing will ever go right. So the moment you know how to handle your conflict, the moment you know how to approach it as a person, I think everything will work to your favor. Not to your favor as an individual, but to your favor as a group, the people you're working with, and the National Secretary as a whole.
To share. Okay, so we'll get to your order.
As conference director, you have policies and you have plans in place as you plan you focus on the particular year. How do you involve local chapters and their USGs in making sure that you are successfully implementing this?
Local chapters and USGs, they have to be there. It's not a matter of if, they have to be there. There's no way you can organize for such a major event as the annual conference if you don't include the people who are actually in the conference. It doesn't make sense. So, probably, basically what I will do, or basically what I can do, is try to incorporate, like once in a while, or probably 2 times, organize for a little, I don't call it a get together, I can call it a diplomatic caucus of all USGs. We come sit down, I give them what is on my table, I present it to them. If there's anything they need to adjust, they can tell me. If there's anything I need to reduce, they can tell me. So that when you do anything, if there's any event that you need to organize, any conference, any debate, we are all on the same page. So that I don't do something, then a USG doesn't agree with me, or someone else doesn't agree with me, then we're at war. Because being at war is it's not healthy. It's never been healthy. Because when you're at war with someone and that war is not fixed, you are doomed to fail.
What is your current relationship with the current conference director, and do you believe that an active relationship with your predecessor, if you get the position, is important towards building a greater conference?
First of all, my relationship with the current conference director, it's pretty close. Let me just put it that way, because we met before I entered KMUN. When I entered KMUN, I didn't even know she was conference director. So when I knew she was conference director, I think that was the time it just clicked, going to replace her because I like how she works. I like what she's done so far. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straight. There is no two ways about it. I like how she does her things. And of course, all I have to do is just take up from her. Simple. And I think a relationship with the predecessor of where you want to apply or where you want to be in is really important. Because the moment you do not know or you don't have, how do I put it, you're not an acquaintance, it will be difficult to go and ask them for advice when you have a problem to solve.
I have one question. Okay, you realize that the title is conference director, but apart from the conference, there are other things you need to organize, like the warm-ups, the mock debates, especially the outside mock debates, outside town mock debates. Basically, a lot happens during that time where you have to plan for the accommodation and what. So basically, how do you plan to handle such events? Because you've only talked about the conference and there's nothing you'd really like to change in the conference, but what would you like to change in the mock debates and what? Is there anything you're planning for them?
Mock debates. Of course, what I think personally is the mock debates should have a rotational. They should be put in terms of rotation. They should rotate another chapter. Especially if you have, and then again, if you have an out-of-town mock debate, of course, there will be issues on accommodation. That is a fact. So, personally, I'd take it upon myself if I have been given options on the specific places where we can board. I go there myself and look at it. If it's conducive enough, I take it. If it's not, on to the next one. Because we had a scenario where people were having problems with the specific place where they wanted to board, and it brought a lot of scuffle. I think that was a lesson that was well learned, and I think I will actually do that. Yes, so that we don't have this small little scuffles around between the secretariat and the USGs and the local chapter. And for the warm-up, again, I prefer rotational scheme, so that we don't have a scenario where we have one chapter doing the warm-up for 3 years or 4 consecutive. It's not healthy. At some point it gets boring. So a new environment means a new challenge, means getting to know new people and probably having a sit down and a meet and greet with people of like-minded individuals.
So, Roger,
yes,
you have during the course of the interview consistently said that you are a people person.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you need the creative people to work, or do you need the relationships with people to work? Because you must realize the office of conference director calls on you sometimes to be lonely, but you will have to do work even when you're alone. So now the question is, do you need gratification to work?
I don't think I need gratification. Your work gives you gratification. People shouldn't give you gratification for what you've not done. What you've done and how good it is gratification enough for me. I don't need anybody to tell me how good I am. As long as my work to me is good, I'm fine. And I believe in a relationship. Gratification isn't fun. It's not interesting. Because at some point I will have to tell someone you've done good. Constantly being told you've done good gives you, technically just makes you become big-headed, makes you become egotistic for a while.